Cool. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Leroy McKenzie Jr. We are here. It's the third Monday. I know it's tax day, y'all. I know it's tax day. It's April 15th, and if you don't have your taxes done, you got, let's see, it's 7 o'clock. If you're on the East Coast, you only got 5 hours, or a little less than 5 hours left till 12 midnight tonight. And actually, they said something interesting today, and I'm going to introduce our guest in 1 second. But they said something interesting today that I did not realize, that they said that folks on the East Coast, we actually have until 3 a.m. because the West Coast, of course, is 3 hours behind us. So we get till 12 o'clock their time, which is 3 o'clock our time. So you really have a little longer than 5 hours, because you have the 3 hours from the West Coast time to be able to still get your taxes out there. And then you still got to get to the post office. Now the post office ain't open at 3 a.m. so you still got to get your taxes done there. So it's April 15th. I'm gonna remind y'all of that first, to let you know that the taxes are due today, or you can file the extension to get the 6 months till October. For those of us who want that extension and need that extension on for our taxes and everything. So I want to welcome y'all to the brand new development series. Y'all know how we do. We're here every third Monday to bring you some information, knowledge, and resources that is going to help you and assist you in being better professionally, being better personally, and we want to bring people to you that will have some knowledge, some information, and resources that they want to share with you to help you grow, to help your brand, to help you, your brand, your business, to be able to go to that next level, whatever that next level might be for you. So tonight, we have a special guest that's here with us. She's rocking with us for the next hour. She's going to be talking to us about some food, some good eating, and some healthy living physically, because y'all know we talk about being mentally healthy, and physically healthy. So we want to make sure that as a part of that physically healthy, that you eat right, because your body can't be right if you're not eating right. So we want to make sure tonight we're going to be talking with none other than Miss Ebony Wainwright of Eats with Ebony. Did I get it right this time?
You got it
right. Miss Ebony Wainwright of Eats with Ebony, and she's going to be talking with us, you all, just about some good stuff about eating to live, not living to eat, but about having healthy eating habits, and then also having a healthy eating lifestyle. Because I've been thinking about this, about eating is a lifestyle, it's part of your lifestyle, and you can become, that eating lifestyle can become bad, or it can be something that's that is good for you. So you have to be cognizant of what it is that you're putting into your body and everything like that. So I want to welcome Miss Ebony Wainwright to the to the podcast, to the cast this evening, and we're going to chat it up for a little bit. So welcome, Miss Ebony. How are you?
Hi, Leroy. Thank you. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on, lady. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and to be able to talk to us just about the good stuff, the good eating habits that we need to have, and talking about your business and what you do with Eats with Ebony, and how folks can actually be better stewards of their eating and everything like that. So thanks for coming on.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and thanks to the Black Professional Men also for the invitation. Okay.
Absolutely. Black Professional Men, and that's what we're about. We're about the community. We're about we're not just about the securing the future of the African American male, which is our main mantra, but it's about securing the future of African Americans, period. And that includes men and women. And part of that securing our future is being able to eat right. because we can't secure ourselves if we're not eating right, if we're
Right.
not eating right. So I usually always start the show off by having our guests talk a little bit about themselves. I don't necessarily go with a bio, because bios are, something that people are prepared that they have read and everything like that.
Right.
But I want you to just tell the folks just a little bit about you, where you're from and everything like that. And then we'll get into what we kind of here to talk about, which is the healthy eating. Okay?
Okay, absolutely. So my name is Ebony. As Leroy has said, the contact information for myself is Eats with Ebony, and that is on Instagram. So you can go at the public page that you can follow, and I will follow you back, as Leroy will attest to.
Absolutely.
So full time, I actually work for the University of Maryland, Baltimore, but my passion, my love is food, and preparing healthy food is especially important to me. If you go to the page Eats with Ebony, you'll see that I do meal prep for my clients. I have about a handful of clients right now who regularly purchase meals from me. And what I do is I consult with you guys to see what your needs are. If you have any dietary restrictions, what your goals are, if you wish to lose weight, gain weight, maintain a healthy weight, we can do that. I'll break the meals down in terms of calories, protein, fiber, and so forth. And again, it's custom. So it's menus that I do put out weekly. But if you come to me and say, hey, I would like XYZ, if it's vegan, vegetarian, bodybuilders, I deal with some of those guys from the gym. You tell me what your specific needs are, and I'll cater to that. So it's pretty straightforward. The nutritious meals. I did one recently where it was a power punch, where it had a certain amount of protein in it, certain amount of fiber, and the calorie intake and the macro intake was also calculated. So that's pretty much my spiel for what I do. If you have any specific questions, though, Leroy, we can kind of shoot towards that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start here. Let's start with actually what got you started in actually wanting to start your own company as far as doing the food. Has cooking been something, and you mentioned it briefly, has cooking been something that you've always loved to do or enjoyed to do, and then you said, wow, this is something that I like to kind of do now since I enjoy doing that?
Yeah, well, actually, I have, as you and I spoke, before we got on the video, I've been cooking since I was about 10. Okay. My dad had me in the kitchen cooking, and so that became something that,
Your dad?
At 10. Oh, yeah, my dad, and he was a cook as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, he was a cook, so he had me cooking at an early age, and so I actually did attend culinary school. Yeah, I attended culinary school when I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, so I attended culinary school, and it's ironic because coming into that, you have this, and unless you know better, and at the time I didn't, it's like, oh, I'm going to be a chef. And so when you get into culinary school, you understand that it steps to that. So you have to get all these different certifications and courses, and it's a process. So we proclaim ourselves as chefs, but the actual term chef is something that you acquire through a certain amount of education and competition, where you get certification, throughout the process. So, so I did that, and, I had gotten married, had kids, and kind of put that on the back burner, but it was something that was always a passion, remained a passion. And around 2005, I started doing like underground, where I would cater weddings and different events that people would come to me because they knew I cooked. And I did, dinners, like Friday dinners, Saturday dinners, and things like that. But it just was like an underground thing. Did it for a while, backed off for a minute. And then I just realized I wanted to do it where it was more intimate, where it was
Okay.
like not these big events, but something that I could actually connect with a client, and give them my best, and I think sometimes when you try to do it too big, for me, it was just all over the place.
Gotcha.
So it was a thing where I wanted to kind of like specialize in just intimate gatherings, maybe 25 to 30 people. And then, of course, once I started going to the gym and working out, and I started talking to people, and people were saying that one of the main concerns they had was trying to align their workouts with proper nutrition. So then I started thinking like, okay, well, we on to something, So from that, it was a friend of mine who was actually doing personal training, and he was getting his clients on programs, and they were doing like shakes and things like that.
Okay.
But I wanted to come up with a program where it was like you said earlier, a lifestyle. I know for me, I'm not going to do a shake 2 times a day for the rest of my life. I wanted to be able to prepare food that I could, share with my family and with myself and still be healthy. So that came the meal prep, And I mean, to each his own. The shakes do work for some people, but for me, it was a thing of being consistent and something that I knew I could see me doing all the time. And because I love to cook, it was just a natural thing. And then being able to introduce that to other people to say, hey, even if you do your shakes, how about, a shake for breakfast and then do a sensible lunch or dinner, or swap out one or the other, but still incorporating food, because I still think that, no matter what, everything that we need, you can get through the foods that we grow, the foods that are here, as opposed to, shakes that have different chemicals and things that you're not, necessarily familiar with, but at least, with your food, you can get those nutrients and those minerals. So that was the goal for me. It's teaching people how to do that through actual eating and preparing food,
And see that you touched on something that's always been my thing when it came to whether it was diets, whether it was like the different like Weight Watchers, the different programs that they have out here and stuff like that, where they do the shakes and those kind of things, or they have the food proportions and stuff. Was once you got down to you say it's somebody that's trying to lose a certain amount of weight. Once they got to that weight, then what do? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think what you said something that I think is very important, and I hope that people that are listening will understand is, yes, I think you can, you can use the shakes and use those meal things to get you to a certain weight and stuff like that. But you got to understand, like you said, you're not drinking shakes for the rest of your life. You have to. Yeah, you have to at one point still eat some kind of food, and everything like that. So it makes sense what you said to say where you have a balance of if you want to do the shakes, to get you to a certain point and everything like that. But you also have in your mind, okay, once I get to my desired weight or whatever it is like that, or desired health and stuff like that, what can I do now to have that, what we were talking about, that lifestyle, that eating lifestyle.
Maintenance.
Yeah. So that it stays consistent, and you understand, okay, if I'm eating a certain way for the rest of, if I'm going to be eating something for the rest of my life, it should be eating a certain way. And I guess, and you'll may talk a little bit about the vegan, those folks that are vegan, they eat a certain way. That's, that veganism, I guess, if that's a word, that's a lifestyle to me.
That's a lifestyle.
When somebody tells me that they're vegan, you think of that's a certain lifestyle that they've chosen to have as far as eating goes.
Right.
They don't want to eat certain foods, and they want to, have a certain kind of health and everything like that. Now, veganism isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you have to, I think you talked a little bit about it too. I think you have to choose what kind of food lifestyle, eating lifestyle that is good for you. Because what you may see, what may be good for you may not necessarily be good for me. So
and it has to be something that that you can maintain, and that's the thing, being realistic. And I mean, just for me, going to the grocery store, going to the farmer's market and buying your vegetables, buying your organic meats, things like that. When you think about comparing that to paying money for shakes or, protein and things like that, where you don't know necessarily what's in those things. And I mean, we could debate about food too, and people can talk about, what's in the food in terms of steroids or whatever that might be. But I just mean in the sense of affordability, and also something that's realistically something that you're going to be able to maintain. And again, like I said, if it works for you, then I'm not knocking it. But I just feel like that at the end of the day, especially for myself, getting older, pushing 50, it's important that I'm tracking calories and vitamins and minerals and all the nutrients, and knowing what I'm getting in my food specifically, and not just that, preparing it, because I'm controlling the salt intake. I'm controlling, making sure there's no additives or preservatives and things like that, to the best of my ability. So that's important. When you get a shake, when you read those labels, you don't necessarily know what that stuff breaks down to be. They'll say it's a certain amount of calories, but in terms of all the, additives and things like that, that's just not something to me that's like, conducive for my lifestyle. Moving forward and being able to maintain. So I just think it's definitely about education. Like I said, if people, take the time and you read the labels, and if you feel like that works for you, again, that's fine. But I just feel like the meal prep is a convenient way to make sure that you have your meals ready. Because I think that's the important thing too, is that when you don't know what you're going to eat, you tend to eat whatever. You can be at work and you'll just go, like I have a vending machine at work, and, and I mean, they make a killing. They make a killing because people will sometimes use that as lunch, so it's like if you prepare your meals and you bring your meals, then you already know this is what I'm having for lunch, or this is what I'm having for dinner. And so you're going to stay on track and have a better chance of being successful, whatever your goals are in terms of nutrition, because you have that preparation. So for me, when I do the breakdown and you think about how much you order out, you think about the stacking, you think about all of that, you're going to definitely save money in the long run. You're going to, save time, because like what I do it on Sunday. So when I'm dealing with my clients, it's a thing where they put their orders in on a Tuesday. And then that Friday, we finalize any payment or whatever, and then Sunday is pickup, a delivery, so that you can have your meals ready to start Monday through Friday.
Oh, cool. So you usually do the Monday through Friday for the meal prep?
So it's Monday through Friday, unless somebody comes to me and say they want something else. But most people have kind of, if they're on a program, they've kind of got it where Monday through Friday is the hardest part, because you're working, you're going to school, you might have family, husband, wives, children. So Monday and Friday is when we're our busiest. Saturday you can kind of, you can whip up something, but at least Monday through Friday you have that structure. You don't have to think about it. It's already there, and it's just convenient. And again, like I said, overall, I've talked to my clients, it saves them money, So yeah, it's definitely a bonus, just having that preparation. So.
And I think that what you do, like you said, with the meal preps, it actually assists people, like you said, with becoming more disciplined. Because if they already have it there, then they don't have to worry about. Because you know how I don't know about you, but when I was younger, the one thing that I learned from my mother going to the market was if you went to the market hungry, then you were more apt to pick up stuff that you didn't necessarily need.
Absolutely.
As opposed to if you already have the meals prepped for you, then going outside of that is not as likely. Because like you said, you know what you're going to be eating, you have it there, you already have it planned out, and it's a lot easier to stick to that, to that particular meal that that you're going to have. As opposed to, what am I going to eat today? And then, like you said,
Yeah, and then the thing of it is, you don't have to think about, like, I mean, when we do the consultation and you talk about what your goals are, what your needs are, then you don't have to think about it. You already know, like if we go to a restaurant, typically the portion sizes are for that of 2 people minimum.
Oh, real? Okay.
And we'll eat that, and we've been taught that that's cool, right? That's okay. But when you really think about it, is that, like I said, it's for 2 people. So you can take that protein that you have in a restaurant, whether it be a steak, chicken, fish, and in most cases break that down, and that's 2 portions. Okay. So when you do the consultation and you say, hey, this is what I need in calories, this is what I need in protein, you don't even have to think about it. It's already broken down for you. You pull out your tray, you heat it up, and you know that you've gotten everything that you need. Anything that you do outside of that, then that's on you.
Yeah, right.
But in most cases, like you said, it kind of enforces that discipline because, again, you don't have to think about it. It's already done, and you already know, hey, I've got everything portioned out, and there's no guesswork. It's handled for you, and you can just go and get it, and you know that, hey, I'm sticking to whatever my goals are. I think that's
Do you think that restaurants, fast food, and restaurants, regular restaurants, sit down restaurants, and then even fast food restaurants have become more cognizant of that, and they actually offer more healthier food, types of food eating and stuff like that for people?
If you go to any restaurant, I think that you can go to the menu and you can see, like you said, that they do have healthier choices. I don't know if that was something by the FDA where they had to start listing calories and the nutrition content for people, because I guess they want people to be able to make those healthier choices if they choose to. So I do think that they have become more fast forward in making sure that people are aware. And then what you do is, like I said, on you, but at least you do have that information. So yeah, I believe they have become more cognizant of that, But again, when you go out to a fast food place, most people aren't thinking about nutrition. Let's be real. Not, in most cases, you're going for something like what I call guilty pleasure. So you're going for that burger, or you're going for those fries or whatever. I don't think you're thinking about nutrition per se.
Or unless you, like I said, it's people that are going to specific, like a vegan restaurant, those kind of things, because I went to, it's maybe like 2 months ago, I had the opportunity to eat at a vegan restaurant for the first time. I actually had it, and the food was just phenomenal. It was so good. And it was
that's not fast food. That was a restaurant, right? You don't consider that fast food,
Yeah, even though it was takeout and stuff, Yeah. It was specifically, it was pretty much everything that I ate. I had macaroni and cheese. I had, was it string beans or collard greens? One of the two. And I'm trying to think of the meat. I think I had chicken, or what they fixed. But it was so, it was so good, and it was vegan. So everything that they fixed was prepared the way, it was healthier for you. And I thought it was so good because I'd been determined to eat at a couple of and this was down in PG County. There's one down in PG County that I'd gone to down there. And then there's a couple here that I haven't had the opportunity yet, but I know I do want to actually get it because I've heard so much about the food being really good.
Try the land of Kush.
That's the one. That's the one that everybody talks about. That is just phenomenal. And I've actually had theirs at a couple of organizational meetings. They've actually catered the food. And the food is just always,
phenomenal.
Good. Yeah, it's just always good. And I think that people have to understand just about, when you're eating, whether it's like you said, at a restaurant, at a particular kind of restaurant, or whether it's a fast food restaurant, the choices are there for you to be able to, to be able to eat healthy. And I do think that we as people or individuals are starting to eat healthier. You know what I mean? I don't know if the younger generation is doing that, because I know for me, I've always eaten pretty healthy, and I've eaten almost the same kind of foods throughout my life and everything like that. So it's been basically the same kind of foods, but it also had to do with, like you were saying, the way that you prepare your food.
Yeah.
Because there's several different ways you can fix chicken. There's several different ways
Right.
you can fix fish, to mix it up. And that's what I like to do. Eating the same kinds of foods,
But
but
prepared differently.
yeah, but prepared differently, because it gives you a different way of being able to eat them. And, not eating. Now, I do know now, I can honestly say now, I don't believe I eat as much fried foods as I do.
Okay.
As I used to, because it's just something that I wanted to kind of get away from and everything like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know when I eat at the restaurant Terra Cafe, instead of getting the French fries, I get the sautéed veggies.
Oh,
Which
right.
is just so good.
It's a
So
healthier
yeah,
option. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
just different ways that I try to eat differently and to eat healthier, because as you do get older, we do have to be cognizant. And and I do think us as a country, and even with when First Lady Michelle Obama had the thing about what was it, that she was on the healthy, getting kids healthy again,
Right.
and the eating habits. Because we as a country, so many of us have gotten used to the fast foods. It's quick, it's easy.
And not just the fast food, like we said earlier, like the incredible portion sizes.
Right, right,
And not questioning that. It's just that if that's served to you, you just eat it,
right.
and you don't think about the fact that is that 3 to 4 ounces of
Right,
protein
right.
as opposed to 6 or 7. So I think it's just like you said, being educated and having healthier options and choices. So yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and I think, like you just said something really, really important, was being educated
Right,
on how to eat right. Because so
right.
many of us, we don't even think about that. We don't think about how to be able to eat right. And if we did learn, if we were educated, or more educated on how to eat right, then we can understand, like you just said, because you just taught me something about, I never really thought about the portions that they gave us. Yeah, I always thought it was big. I'm like, oh, this is, we thinking, yeah, they gave, hey, I'm
Because
getting
you
my
want your
money's worth.
money's worth. You feel
Right.
like you want your money's worth, right?
That's true. And
Right.
but that is so true when you think about it in the terms of the portion size. It's like, wow, you know what? Because I used to always, I lie to you not, because my major in college was hotel restaurant management.
Oh, okay.
and and we would and I you would have to, we did we would cater events for our HRM department. We would do certain functions and stuff, but
Okay.
we had to cook. We actually had to take cooking classes in school
Okay.
and stuff. And I used to always be like, well, when we did events, you only got a little bit of food for your entree. So I'm like, no, I'm going to go to these events. Even when you go to events now, you see these little portions and you're hungry when you get home later on. You're like, okay, you get these little portions, but like you said, that's an important thing that you have to think about, is the portions that you get. You don't
Portion
want to,
size. Yeah.
the portion size and what you eat. Talk to me. I got a quick question for you. Now, what effect does eating late have on on an individual, and gaining weight and everything like that? Because that was something that
Okay.
I
Well, first
always.
off, let me say this because you put me on the spot.
Oh,
So we talked about this offline. I'm not a
yeah,
nutritionist and I'm
absolutely,
not
absolutely,
an
absolutely,
MD. So I can
absolutely.
only speak from experience.
Right,
Okay. And
absolutely.
so, I mean, as in some studies I know I've read have shown that if you do eat late, of course, your metabolism slows down during the course of the
Mm,
day. So if you at
okay.
nighttime, if you ever look at certain programs, because I don't like to say diets, but just certain
Hmm.
programs, they'll say don't eat after 6 or 7 o'clock. But
Hmm.
then you have
Hmm.
some
Right,
people, depending on
right,
their schedule, they might be
right.
active at that time. Like I used to go
Absolutely.
to the gym at nighttime.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
so it kind of just depends, but I think that it really is in terms of like your metabolism and
Got
just
you, got you.
processing that food, and it not being able to burn as quickly as as if you are active during the course of the day. So
Right,
that's
right,
just
right.
I can't say 100%, but that's just always been the thought process is that you eat by 6 or 7, because the thought is that after that point, most people are not going to be active.
Active after that time, right?
So it's about your
and that actually makes
metabolism and
sense.
burning that food, and that food just, sitting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
And then
yeah,
also
absolutely.
as you get older, I don't know, I can't say for you, but for me, indigestion, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm eating, at a certain time of night, and I'm, of course you're laying down directly, then, your food is not digesting properly. So I think it's a digestion thing as well,
Right,
But that's just
So,
my 2 cents.
but that's important though, because I remember always telling my best friend at the time, because she would always be eating late, and not just eating
Okay.
late, but eating heavy late. That's always been my thing. If you eat late, because sometimes, like you said, our schedules just are so hectic, so crazy, and everything like that.
Right.
But my thing
Right.
has always been, if I have to eat late, then I try to eat something that's light, maybe like a turkey sandwich,
Or a piece of fruit, or
a
something
fruit
like that.
salad.
But it really is about, I think it's more about digestion, and also about your metabolism slowing down at that point, because you're going to sleep, so you're not going to be active. So I think it's really about that, more than anything. And then knowing your body, like certain things, as you get older, you'll realize if you drink or eat certain things before you go to bed. I mean, seriously, your stomach is messed up. You wake, heartburn or whatever. So it's really about knowing your body. I think that's another thing too, in terms of what you eat and how you prepare is number one, talking to your physician. That's key. Because before we do any type of consultation, I always have, to ask that question,
it's the first question.
Yeah, you've been to a doctor. Have you had your physical? What's, the doctor saying in terms of your numbers? Are you trying to lower your cholesterol? Are you trying to lose weight? Just what the goals are, but based on some type of, doctor visit, because I don't want to, have somebody come to me and we're doing this and then it's not a healthy thing for them, because they might have underlying conditions like, hypertension, diabetes, certain things they shouldn't have. So that's important to consult a physician first. That's foremost. And then again, like I said, in terms of knowing your body and knowing how certain things, like certain people can't have, dairy.
Right.
So just knowing how things react when you eat certain things that I could eat when I was 20 and 30, I can't anymore.
We can't
do
it no more.
Like done. Yeah. So you have to also pay attention to your body and how certain foods, as you said earlier, preparation. Like, fried foods. I've never been able to eat fried foods without having issues.
Okay.
And that was even noticing that in my 20s. If I were to eat like fried chicken, stomach is done, and and I would have to think, what did I eat? So that's always been something I was conscious of, and not eating a lot of fried food. Some other people can handle it. I can't. Spicy foods, knowing that that's something that's gonna, bother you if you have ulcers. So just knowing your body and how certain foods react when you eat them, and knowing what's going to be a healthier preparation for you. So, I do a lot of baked. As you said, I do a lot of grills. I have a grill, like a outside grill, but also inside, like a grill that I put on my stove. And, I saute things, but very, very rarely do I fry unless the kids are asking for fried chicken. So, but that's their thing. They can handle it. I can't. But just knowing your body, too, that's key.
Absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit about, how did you go from loving to cook to actually saying, you know what, let me how did you get into doing the food?
I've lost your audio.
I want to take that and kind of, that's kind of your lane that you kind of saw. Repeat
that for me, Leroy, because you went out for a second.
No, what I was asking is what got you into doing the food prepping? Because I know you said you loved cooking, and
the meal prep.
Yeah, what got you into saying that was your?
Oh, okay. Just like I said, dealing with some friends who were doing like personal training, and just going to the gym and just realizing it was a need. So you basically started with friends, realizing the need for food prep and just being prepared. Because, like I said, with a busy schedule, working, going to school, trying to work out at the gym, that was something that was a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
having the meals. And so that was something that friends and I decided would be helpful. And it kind of just like went on from there. Like one day, a friend of mine just said, well, why don't you just go ahead and just do it? Just make a flyer up. No, and this is
Uh-huh.
no joke. He said, make a flyer up. I made the flyer up, and people just started coming. And
Wow.
it just
Wow.
went from there. And it was like when they talk about just being afraid sometimes because I didn't know what the response was going to be. And
Mm-hmm.
then I said, well, if one person says yes, then it's one person. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
that's the worst that can happen is that nobody says something and then I just keep on going.
Right.
But
Right.
I
Right.
just did it and I put the flyer up and it just went from there. You saw it. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just something because you and I've been friends for a bit, and it was just something that just happened from a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went
Mm-hmm.
ahead, went out, bought the containers, I made the menus, and what I found was some people felt kind of like restricted or kind of like boxed in from just me giving them a menu.
Okay.
The
Okay.
menu worked for me because it was like I'm doing it from my home. I didn't want to be all over the place and having,
Mm-hmm.
two people ask for this, three people ask for that. So the menus kind of kept it, simple for me. But then I would have people who would say, okay, I want X, Y, Z, and then we would do
Mm-hmm.
something custom in terms of switching out a vegetable or maybe switching out the protein, but it still was kind of like a set menu. But it
Okay.
just it
Okay.
just came from just conversations with people at the gym and me talking about it. You know how they say you keep talking and talking, and I kept talking. And they were like, just make a flyer. So I made the flyer, and it was on from there. And then now it's funny because I do the meal prep for like nutritious meals. And as you said, I mean, I don't think I make anything that's not nutritious because I don't think it's any food that's a bad food.
Mm-hmm.
I think again,
Mm-hmm.
it's just how much of it you eat and how often
Mm-hmm.
you eat it, and also preparation. But I have people now who get Sunday dinners, as you saw that I
Mm.
posted, I think last week and this week.
Uh-huh.
And he just said, "Look, just tell me what you're cooking," because he wants it for his mom, who has
Okay.
Alzheimer's, and he
Oh
wants,
wow.
food for her during the week. And he just became a regular client just based off of
Wow.
that.
And I
Yeah,
hadn't even thought that's awesome. That's awesome right there. You know that
yeah. So
that somebody would think about that with with an aging parent. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So that they have
exactly.
because that's I mean and that's really awesome. That's a really good way of thinking about that. So
And that
that's
took
really
me in another
cool.
direction because that forced me to kind of look at it from another, viewpoint of not just the meal prep for people who were trying to lose weight, but
Hmm.
also for people who don't want to or have the time to cook, whether it's
Right.
for themselves, like you said, for, elderly parent. I have some people who have just contacted me who have like assisted living
Hmm.
places
Hmm.
and they wanted to have like meals prepared for the residents there.
Right.
So
Right.
it's taken me into, a few directions, but it's all still, comes back to my passion and that's, cooking and making people happy and also, teaching them about nutrition as well. So, um,
And I know,
that's,
and I think that that's really cool because that, to me, and you can talk a little bit about this. That's what actually distinguishes your brand from, I think, the other, and the other folks out there that may be doing the food prep. Where I think yours is, you now. Do you have? I know you do the consultations and everything like that, but do you kind
mhm.
of have a overall general menu that you kind of can have people go from, or is it basically you're going to do a customized menu based on what that and what your client actually needs?
Okay, well, like I said, weekly I do like a set menu, but
Okay,
again,
okay.
you're not bonded to that. So if you say
Hmm.
to me, "Hey, this is what I need," and we talk
Hmm.
about it, then of course, I'll tailor it to whatever your needs are. The set menu just works for me in terms of being able to have a starting place.
Hmm.
In terms
Hmm.
of knowing, okay, this is the protein, this is the vegetable, but sometimes, I mean, I'll throw something out there and it doesn't necessarily hit.
Hmm.
And people say, hey, I need another option. And then based upon like, just a general consensus from, a handful or maybe 10 or so, 12 people, I'll change it. So it just depends. But I just kind of have, I want to give myself a starting place and be able to not just be out there blindly and just having people come at me and throwing me orders, So
Right,
the set
right.
menu kind of keeps me kind of in place, and then people can kind of come and they can, feed off of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely customize is definitely is the option. It's definitely something that, I tell people they can do, but it's just the set menu. It takes the thought out of that too, because at least that way, hey, I've got, 2 protein options, 2 vegetable options, 2, grain starch options. And it's like, okay, I'll take that,
Absolutely.
because I try to make it as simple as possible for people,
Yeah, and you really do, and you even do, I guess, specialty events and stuff like that. Because I've noticed you've done different, like I know you did you had the Super Bowl thing that you did,
Oh, yeah.
And it was a couple other events that you kind of shaped with kind of the foods that you offered that people could people could order through you, and be able to to be able to have that particular events and stuff like that. Now, is that a part of the catering aspect that you do with
Oh,
your
yeah,
business?
absolutely. So I try to, like, all the major, like, holidays and different events that come up, I try to throw something together. So like you said, we did the Super Bowl, we did Valentine's Day, the dinner for 2. But I also do a cooking sip series. So the cooking sip, yeah, and I think I shared that with you. I don't know if that's on the page, but I think I put it on my Facebook. Once I did it, I did the cooking sip. So the cooking sip is like a 3-course meal, and you have a hostess. So let's just say if you decided to host one for yourself, okay, and your friends, and we consult, we come up with a menu. The menu that I did for that particular one was like a stuffed salmon, and we demoed that. So I actually had the group, and we talked about the fish, and we talked about the stuffing, and they were actually able to participate and stuff the salmon themselves. And then everything else I prepared ahead of time, and we served it like a sit down. So the hostess chooses the 3 courses. So the first course was is a soup, a salad, or appetizer. Then the second course is the entree, which of course is the protein, the starch, and the vegetable. And then you have a dessert course. And then because it is a sip, you decide on the beverage. So we did like a sangria that I prepared. And it's a fun way for people to get together. People do the paint and sips, So I say, okay, because I love to cook, and I know people love to cook or at least want to learn how to cook too. It is also a way for you to learn about preparing food and just talking and having a good time. We had music, and it was just a nice way, and it was something different, And the feedback was good. I'm trying to launch one for you guys.
Yes, yes, we talked a little bit about that. Yeah. No, definitely talk about that now. What your idea is with that, and what you like to have done. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the idea is the men can cook too. So it's just to get you guys together, because I think that's important. Growing up, like my dad was a cook. My mom could not cook.
See, that's fellas, it's not just women that can cook. We know that there's men chefs out there. So
she couldn't cook. Hamburgers were like rocks, right? And we still talk about this to this day, right?
Not rocks.
My dad,
not rocks.
My dad was really rocks, right? And so she couldn't cook, and she'll tell you she hates to cook. But my dad, who is he passed like 10 years now. But he was a cook in the Navy, and he tells the story about when he and my mom got married, and she made this gravy, right? So he said she made this gravy, and he went to sleep. He woke up, and his stomach was just like flipping, right? So he said he actually thought he was going to die, right?
Oh no!
And no, this is true. And he thought he was going to die, and he said that he wanted her to show him what she had done. She made this gravy.
Okay.
So, gravy is with you get your, your onions, and you saute them, and you put your flour in. But you put the oil in first, and she had put like a ton of oil, and that's what made him
Oh, wow.
So he used to tell that story, and he said he knew then that he had to cook for his life, right? He had to cook for his life. So needless to say, I taught my sons how to cook. So I think it's important for men to I think it's important for men to be able to cook, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so that's the thing. So this series is about men can cook too, and it's just to get in the kitchen, loosen up, talk about food, talk about what you guys like to eat, what you like to prepare. If you can't cook, then we will cook. So that's the whole thing, is just getting in there, getting some recipes, and just having fun. I think it's all about fun,
absolutely.
and you learn so much when you're in the kitchen. I think, you learn about, I used to teach my kids about measurements and textures, and just, trying new things and not being afraid, to, for instance, beets. Now, growing up, you couldn't pay me to eat beets, right?
Yeah, me either. Still can't. I still will not. I won't. I just even thought of having a beet makes me nauseous, makes me sick.
We're gonna get in the kitchen. We're gonna get in the kitchen and make a good golden and red beet salad with some citrus. You'll enjoy it.
Nah.
Well, I'll tell you this. At least say you'll try it. This is what I always tell my kids. Don't just say I'll try it, and if you don't like it, cool.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll get the information for the Men Can Cook Cook and Sip. We can if you guys want. I don't know what you guys drink. Do you drink?
No, I don't. But I think I know some of the men that are part of it.
So we can do alcoholic or non. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you guys want. You want some type of sweet tea or whatever it is. But it is some type of beverage that we decide upon, because it is a cook and sip. And we can do, like I said, 3 courses, get the menu, map it out, and just get in the kitchen and have some fun.
And see, that's what it's about. It's about, like you said, not just having fun, but that's the educational aspect of it, is learning about food. I'm going to tell you a quick funny story. Growing up, my grandmother, I hated liver. Hated. Okay. I would not eat. My grandmother and my aunt, they were the only two. My grandmother would fix liver and onions with gravy and rice.
Okay.
Her liver and onions was the only way I would eat liver. I would not eat her and my aunts. I would not eat anybody else's. It was just the way that she cooked it, like you just talked about beets.
Right.
The way that she cooked it, you just would not think that it was liver. If you'd have told me it was liver, I wouldn't have believed you. That's how good that's how good she fixed it and everything. So like you said, it is about understanding things, but but them beets is just a whole. That's a whole.
Well, we're gonna try the beets. We're gonna try it. You're gonna at least try it, Leroy.
All right. Because it's you, I'll try.
Beet juice. You hear me?
Oh, she said beet juice. Oh, you done lost your mind, man.
Never say never.
Exactly. But but like you said, that's the fun part about being able to get in the kitchen, be able to cook,
and that's open you get to see what you like, and like I said again, you're not gonna like everything, right? But I try something at least one time, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. But just one time, that's all.
Yep, absolutely.
You never know, and then you'll have something from somebody, and think that you don't like it, and somebody else will prepare the same thing, and you're like, oh, I had this before, and this is totally different. So it's just about being open. That's all.
Yeah, that's very true, because you can't eat everybody's potato salad. So
yeah, that is true. But I'm gonna seal these lips.
But before we go, because time is winding down, I want you to give out your information for those that may want to hire you to do for the food prepping, or even, like you said, the other events that you may do too. How can people reach out to you?
Okay, so they can reach out to me through the Instagram, which is at Eats with Ebony, and that's EATSWITHEBONY. You can also email me at Ebony, EBONYWAN1@gmail.com. And I am on Facebook too as Ebony Wainwright. and that's WAINWRIGHT. Thank you, Leroy.
Right. And I'm telling y'all, if y'all go onto her Instagram, you didn't say your Instagram either, but if you go onto her
Yeah, that's what I
Instagram,
said. The East of Ebony.
okay,
That's
okay,
Instagram. Mm-hmm.
okay. But if y'all go onto her Instagram page, if you go onto her, even the Facebook, any of her social media, you will see some of the food that she has taken pictures of, that she is fixed. That's all her, y'all. That's her. That the pictures that she has on there, because I've been telling her about doing this cookbook, and I'm
on it.
that we've been talking about. But she has some awesome recipes. She has some awesome food that she fixes. I tell her all the time, when she takes her pictures and puts the pictures of the food that she's prepared out there, it all looks really good. I lie to y'all not. Her food is I mean, beyond good. So if you get the opportunity, you definitely want to check her out. You definitely want to contact her, connect with her to be able to do the food prepping, because we're trying to get y'all, make sure that you're healthy. 2019, we're trying to make sure that the folks are healthy out here, that they're eating healthy, doing those things that are right for their body, because we're trying to make sure that people's minds are right, because there's a lot of folks out here, their minds not right. So we want to make sure that they get their bodies right as well too. So we want to make sure that you're eating right, that you're doing those things, that we are here on the earth as long as we're supposed to be, and that we're not allowing our bodies to break down and not be as healthy as we should be and everything. And that goes to what we actually put into our bodies. We have to be cognizant of that. We have to be aware of what it is that we're eating, how we're eating, all of those things, and that we're eating right, because eating, like we said at the beginning, it's a lifestyle. Your eating habits are a lifestyle. And we want you to have a healthy eating lifestyle, because that's important. So, so we really want to hone in on that. And Ebony, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you. Just let's end it like this. Just talk a little bit about what you think is the importance of why people should just make sure that they do either the food prepping, or that they're eating right in this day and time, and what that can do, what that does for them.
Okay, well, again, this is from experience, and this is definitely just my opinion.
Right.
Barring the food prep, I mean, to me is important, because again, like I said, it saves you time, takes the guesswork out of everything, and also can save you money, depending on what it is that you're already doing, okay? But more importantly than that, for me, the eating right, in terms of nutrition and everything, is a way for you to reach certain goals, because I know a lot of people talk to me about wanting to lose weight, but bigger than losing weight is just making sure that what it is that you're putting into your body is contributing to, your overall health.
Absolutely.
And that's key, so that, again, like I said, not necessarily the foods per se all the time, but it's just, how much of it that you're having. I tell people, like, I don't sit here and say I don't eat certain things.
Right.
I mean, certain things, religious wise, I don't partake in, but I mean, in terms of foods, if I like it, then I'm going to have it. I just might have it, once in a while. So I think
Absolutely.
that, when you think about nutrition, you think about what you do most of the time, and that's what counts. So what you do most of the time is what counts. So, I just think it's important to get into a regular routine of making sure that you have, some type of healthy breakfast, a healthy lunch, a healthy dinner, 2 healthy snacks, plenty of water, and just making sure that these are things that you incorporate. Like, every day we get up, we say our prayers, we meditate, we do these things. Make sure that the eating, because like you said, you have to feed your body. In order for your mind to work, at its best, in order for your body to work at its best, you have to be conscious of what you're giving, and putting into your body.
Yeah.
So make that a goal, and I think that when you love yourself, and this is what I tell myself and tell my kids, when you love yourself, then you are good to yourself. So when you love yourself, you realize that you deserve to, like you say, be on this earth and be healthy, because sometimes you take it for granted. And then when you see people that, have all these different ailments, and, I have an uncle who actually, because of his diabetes, he lost his sight.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so when you see these things, my dad died of heart disease.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you see these things and you know better, then you just do better,
Yeah.
and you make that a conscious part of who you are every day. When you get up and like I said, you make your prayers and you meditate and you make sure this is something that you do every day. You equip yourself with that. Equip yourself with proper nutrition and health.
Mm.
It's important. It's important. You feel better. I mean, I know for myself, just eating and eating. I put it to you like this: during the course of the day, my body will tell me. Like if I get so
Mm.
caught up in, whatever I'm doing at my desk, my
Mm-hmm.
body is telling me I need to eat. So
Okay.
I set out a schedule. If I'm up, I'm eating at 7, I'm eating at 10, I'm eating at 1. I have those intervals where my body
Right.
now is accustomed to that.
Exactly.
And when I don't do it, it
Yep.
tells me,
That
you
is
need to
so
take care
true.
of yourself,
Yep.
So yeah, I think that when you become disciplined and you get on a schedule, your body's going to react to that. And so it's going to become second nature, but it's just getting started. And I think that's the
Yep.
biggest thing is getting started. And once you get started and you see the results, you feel the results, you're going to be on it. You're going to be hooked. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
yeah.
one more time, give your contact information so that the people can connect with you.
Okay,
One
absolutely.
more
So
time.
contact information is Eats with Ebony. That's EATSWITHEBONY. That is on Instagram. Facebook, it's Ebony Wainwright, EBONYWAINWRIGHT. Or you can email me at ebonywan1, which is EBONY WAN, the number 1 at gmail.com.
That's cool. So, Ebony, thank you so much. I told you it would go by
Oh,
really quickly, didn't I? I told
it
you it would
really
go.
did.
It's just having a conversation, and when you
Yes,
talk about when you talk about the things, when we talk about things that we enjoy, that we love, it just becomes so much. It becomes
second
easy.
nature.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just becomes what we can talk about, and this is
yeah,
something that I think is important to to everybody, is about eating, our eating habits, about eating healthy. Eating
right.
healthy and about eating the right way.
Yeah,
Because
and take the
so.
first step. And I say this to anybody, like I said, it's baby steps because I don't expect, like for me, I mean, cutting out soda was the first
Mm,
thing I did.
really? Okay.
And once I cut soda out, replace that with nothing but water. Okay.
Mm,
And when you start doing little things bit by bit and you become
mm-hmm.
conscious of that, I think then you have this desire to do things better throughout. So once
Gotcha.
you leave certain things alone and you replace it with something that's more healthy, then you want to go to the next thing. So like you said to me earlier about how you stop eating, red meat,
Mm-hmm.
and then some people like my daughter, she's vegetarian. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's steps to it, So
Right.
I don't think that,
Absolutely.
it's necessarily important to just jump like cold turkey into one thing. I think
Absolutely.
just even if you just say, okay, this week I'm going to have more vegetables. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to, make sure my plate is half vegetable and then half something else, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
the starch and the grain and then the meat. But you just make those little small changes bit by bit, and it'll become a lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's the
It'll become a
ultimate goal,
lifestyle.
it becomes a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you were saying earlier, it's about everything else that we do is a lifestyle, is part of our lifestyle. Getting up,
Yeah.
doing certain things, and this should actually be this should be incorporated in that
Right.
lifestyle that you have too, and
Like
you'll
when
notice
you
the
get up and
difference.
you go to work in the morning and you get up, it's like autopilot. You get up and you
Hmm.
shower and you put your clothes on and you jump in your car and you don't even probably even think about the route
Right.
that you're taking. You just go. So and
Absolutely.
that's what this has to become, a thing that you just do it. It's like you don't even think about it. You just do it because it becomes a part of who you are. So and it will happen, but it's just like I said, baby steps for some. Some people can jump right into it
Yeah.
and just do
Yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
other people have to take their time and gradually, omit certain things and bring in other things. So it's just
A-
it's a process, but you got to be patient with yourself, and education is the key. So when you at your desk and you got some free time, you pull up Google, it'll tell you the recommended servings for how much protein you should have,
mm.
calories. If you're trying to lose a certain amount of weight, it'll tell you how many calories you should be having throughout the course of the day. Just
Oh, okay.
educate yourself. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's key too, is
Yeah.
educating yourself on food. So thank you again, ma'am. I appreciate you taking your time out to come in and chat with us and educating us on food and how we can actually be just be better with our eating habits and making those eating habits our lifestyle in the way that we eat, so we're eating a lot healthier. So thank you
Absolutely.
again. And
And
it has
thank
been
you,
a
and thank the Black Professional Men for having me. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Look me up on Instagram,
absolutely.
and I'll be in contact with you, Leroy.
Okay, that sounds good. Y'all know what it is. It's the brand new development series. I hope that this has been some great information, some great knowledge, some great resources that she's given to you that you will be able to, hopefully you're taking notes. If not, and you're watching the rebroadcast, you can sit down, you can take your time and take notes on what it is that you want to do. Connect with her so she can give you the food prep. She can actually get you started on
Yep.
that program and everything like that. So this has been the brand new development series brought to you by the Black Professional Men and Leroy McKenzie Jr. of JNF Enterprises. So we thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next month, same time, that third Monday of each month. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Good night.
All right.